The amber fields of wheat stretched endlessly under the twin suns of Kepler 442b, swaying in the artificial breeze generated by the colony's atmospheric processors. Jared Holt wiped the sweat from his weathered brow, his calloused hands gripping the handle of his plasma tiller as he worked the stubborn red soil. Earth was 40 light-years away, a lifetime of cryo-sleep and wormhole jumps. But farming remained farming, no matter which corner of the galaxy you planted your seeds. It was during his evening rounds that Jared heard it. A weak, pitiful chirping sound coming from behind his grain silo. At first he thought it might be one of the colony's imported chickens, escaped from a neighboring farm. But as he rounded the curved metal structure, his breath caught in his throat. Huddled against the silo's shadow was a creature no larger than a border collie, its scales shimmering with an iridescent purple-blue that seemed to drink in the fading sunlight. Membranous wings lay crumpled against its emaciated frame, and its elongated snout released small puffs of luminescent vapor with each labored breath. The creature's eyes, large, golden, and filled with ancient intelligence, locked onto Jared's with desperate hunger. "What in the hell are you?" Jared whispered, taking a cautious step forward. The creature tried to move toward him but collapsed, its legs trembling with weakness. Jared had seen enough starving animals in his 30 years of farming to recognize the signs: dehydration, malnutrition, and exhaustion. Whatever this thing was, it was dying. Against every regulation the Kepler Colonial Authority had drilled into settlers about xenobiological contamination, Jared scooped the creature into his arms. It weighed almost nothing, and he could feel its rapid heartbeat against his chest like a hummingbird's wings. "All right, little one," he murmured, carrying it toward his homestead. "Let's see if we can't get some food in you." Inside his modest dwelling, Jared laid the creature on a pile of thermal blankets near the heating unit. He had no idea what it ate, so he started with what he had: synthesized protein paste, hydroponic vegetables, and nutrient-rich grain mash. The creature sniffed each offering with its sensitive nostrils, then turned away weakly. Jared frowned, racking his brain. Then he remembered the mineral supplements he used for his livestock, compounds rich in iron, calcium, and trace elements that earth animals needed. He mixed the supplements with water and brought the bowl to the creature's snout. The effect was immediate. The creature's eyes brightened and it began lapping at the liquid with a forked, crystalline tongue. Within moments the bowl was empty and the creature looked up at Jared with something approaching gratitude. "So, minerals, huh?" Jared said, a smile tugging at his lips. "You're some kind of lithotroph, a rock eater." Over the following weeks, Jared nursed the creature back to health. He crushed meteorite fragments he'd collected from the surrounding plains, mixed them with iron ore from his tool shed, and created a nutrient paste that the creature devoured eagerly. He named it Silrax, after an old Earth legend his grandmother had told him about dragons who guarded treasures. Silrax grew rapidly. Within a month, the creature had tripled in size, its wings now spanning 12 feet when fully extended. Its scales had developed a metallic sheen, and small ridges of crystalline spines ran along its back, glowing faintly with internal bioluminescence. But despite its fearsome appearance, Silrax remained gentle with Jared, following him through the fields like an oversized puppy, occasionally taking flight to patrol the farm's perimeter. The other colonists noticed, of course. Complaints were filed. The Colonial Authority sent inspectors, but Jared stood his ground, arguing that Silrax posed no threat and had actually helped protect his crops from the native pest, species that plagued the region. Then came the night of the raid. Jared was awakened by Silrax's roar, a sound like tearing metal and thunderstorms combined. He grabbed his plasma rifle and rushed outside to find his farm under attack by Kreslian pirates, a species of six-limbed insectoid marauders known for raiding frontier colonies. 5 of their assault craft had landed in his fields, and dozens of armored Kreslians were advancing on his homestead, their weapons charging with deadly intent. The colonial defense grid was minutes away, too far to help, but Silrax was already there. The dragon launched itself into the air with explosive force, its wings creating a downdraft that flattened the wheat around them. From its maw erupted not fire, but a concentrated beam of superheated plasma, a weapon born from its ability to metabolize heavy metals and convert them into pure energy. The first assault craft exploded in a shower of molten debris. The Kreslians scattered, returning fire, but Silrax moved with impossible agility, weaving through their weapons' fire while raining destruction from above. Its claws, harder than diamond, tore through their armor like tissue paper. Its tail, lined with razor-sharp crystal spikes, swept through their ranks like a scythe through grass. Jared watched in awe as the creature he'd nursed back to health transformed into a living weapon of devastating efficiency. Within minutes, the Kreslian raiders were in full retreat, their remaining craft limping back into the night sky with Silrax pursuing them to the edge of the atmosphere before returning to the farm. The dragon landed beside Jared, its chest heaving with exertion, its scales glowing like heated metal. It lowered its massive head and Jared reached out, placing his hand on its snout. "Thank you," he whispered. "You saved us all," Silrax rumbled in response, a sound like distant thunder mixed with a cat's purr. When the colonial authority arrived, they found Jared standing in his scorched fields, surrounded by the wreckage of Kreslian technology, with a fully grown alien dragon at his side. The lead inspector, a stern woman named Commander Chen, approached cautiously. "Mr. Holt," she said, her voice tight with barely controlled emotion. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" "I fed a hungry creature," Jared replied simply. "Same as I'd do for any animal on my land." Commander Chen stared at him for a long moment, then at Silrax, who watched her with those intelligent golden eyes. "Mr. Holt, our xenobiologists have identified your companion. It's a Draconus stellaris, a species thought extinct for over 10,000 years. They were the apex guardians of the ancient Valorian Empire, creatures of incredible power and loyalty. And you? You brought one back from the brink of death by feeding it processed asteroid material." She shook her head in disbelief. "The Kreslian Confederacy has been terrorizing this sector for decades. Our military couldn't stop them, but you and your dragon just single-handedly destroyed an entire raiding fleet." Jared looked at Silrax, who had curled protectively around the perimeter of his farm, its luminescent scales creating a barrier of light in the darkness. "I didn't do anything special," Jared said. "I just saw something that needed help and did what any decent person would do." Commander Chen smiled, a rare expression on her usually stern face. "That, Mr. Holt, is the most human thing I've ever heard. And perhaps that's exactly what the galaxy needs." As she and her team departed, Jared returned to his homestead, Silrax following close behind. The dragon had grown from a dying hatchling into a legendary guardian, all because one farmer had shown compassion when it mattered most. In the years that followed, Jared Holt's farm became the safest place in the sector, protected by a creature of myth and nurtured by the simple kindness of humanity. And whenever anyone asked Jared about the secret to his success, he would simply smile and say, "Sometimes the greatest things grow from the smallest acts of mercy." Silrax would rumble in agreement, its scales catching the light of distant stars, a living testament to the spectacular things that could happen when a human chose compassion over fear.